Hi everybody, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, welcome in. If you're coming back, I'm so glad to have you back. Let's talk about social media and healthcare today as nurses. And let's go through this. If you like what you see here, I ask that you like, subscribe, and follow, and comment below and talk to me in the comments because I will answer you back. Social media. We all have it in this day and age. What is safe to share and what is not safe to share on social media? Can it affect your job if you have social media? Let's talk about it. So I have a YouTube channel, obviously, and I am working as a nurse. I am very conscious of what I'm talking about at all times because I have seen where social media has come into a worker's life and caused them to lose their job. We cannot be filming our patients. We cannot be filming at work without express permission. We shouldn't be filming in our office. We shouldn't be filming and sharing it with the world. We shouldn't be showing our patients' faces on television, on social media, on anything. That is very private. That breaks HIPAA, number one. And a lot of times when you get hired to a new job, they will talk to you about their expectations about social media. First of all, when we're nurses and we're working in, or we're not just, let me backtrack that. When we're working in healthcare, and we are nurses, CNAs, whatever we do in healthcare, really that image never leaves. If so-and-so knows that I'm a nurse inside of work, when they see me at the grocery store, I am still a nurse to them. And so it is very important that we conduct ourselves professionally in public, on social media, and at work. And that's not to say that we can't be people, because look, I've got a personality, and I tell you what, I cuss in traffic. It's true. And you know, my husband helps me make these videos, and he is always like editing out things for me. And I also have my private accounts too, you know, so I am conscious of what I put on there. I can't be talking about what I did at work today on social media. Can I talk about experiences that I had and not name names or give specific details? The law says I can. But I really try not to bring up anything that's currently happening in my work life, because I don't want anyone to ever look at my social media and feel that I'm talking about them or directing anything at them. Mostly what I talk about are things that I have experienced over the past 24 years, and mostly in the past, things that I have learned lessons from over the years. Because I think it's important for us to share our experiences as nurses. You know, in a hospice setting, we work pretty independently. We come together for meetings, we come together for IDT, we communicate with certain coworkers on our team throughout the day, throughout the week, but generally in a hospice home care setting, we're not working together on a unit like you do in a facility. So we don't always get that support. The great thing about working in a team is that you can talk to each other about the things that are happening at work. You can communicate with each other about your feelings. You can talk to your manager about how you're feeling about what's happening in your work life. You can do that. That is acceptable. What is not acceptable and is not okay is to come on social media and rant about your current job, unless you're not worried about getting fired. I personally do not believe that talking on social media about my complaints or the things that are going wrong in my work life are going to solve anything. It causes drama, it creates things, it can get back to your boss. I have seen social media get back to someone's boss in the past. And this is when social media was pretty new. You know, there weren't social media policies when we first started having Facebook and things, the book of faces, MySpace, and all those things that started in the 2000s. We didn't have policies about social media when it came out, and people would get on social media and share things. But what we've discovered is that sometimes people are sharing things that are private. Maybe your patient's family doesn't want anyone to know that they are in a certain facility. And certainly your patient maybe doesn't want anyone to know what medications they're taking, what is their disease process that they're in there for, what's going on in their health care. That breaks HIPAA. If you have a grievance with your boss or with a coworker, it is best to take it to that coworker or your boss. It is best to go to the source and talk about it. And if you need to, escalate it to the top of the chain. That is why there's a chain of command. If you are having a problem with somebody, if you are having a problem in a corporation, you have a chain of command to follow. And that's my personal opinion, and I've seen it work effectively as well. If you communicate problems with your manager, with your coworkers, and you work through things like adults, and you look at things from each other's perspective, that's not always easy to do, because you know, and I know, that there are people that are not going to listen to you, and sometimes you're not going to listen to other people's perspective either. I know there have been times when I am not open to hearing what the other party has to say, and I know there have been times when I've talked to someone and I know it just went right through them and they didn't hear a darn word I said. I know that. But the fact is, we have a chain of command that we can talk to if we're having a problem. If you cannot resolve those problems professionally, don't take it to social media, because anything that you put on your social media is a footprint. Even if you think it's private, it can come back to bite your behind. I promise you it can. Someone could retaliate against you that knows you personally, that has access to your personal account. Your information could get shared inadvertently. You do not want to be putting personal information on social media for everyone to use, for your boss to see. If you have a problem with your boss, talk to your boss. I believe that. I will be honest with you. When I was young, probably it would have been bad if I had social media, because I would have been a ranter. I have been known to write paragraphs passively on Facebook. But I will say, my husband, who edits things, once told me, "Why are you sharing that on social media? Don't you know that even if you delete that, it's never gone?" And I think it took me until my 40s to understand that I was oversharing. That I was giving information that I couldn't take back. And he was right. And it took my husband telling me that for me to see. That's not to say I still don't do passive posts sometimes, but never directed toward coworkers. No, because I promise you, if I have an issue at work, I'm going to take it to people, because when you get to my age, you don't care. You'll go and talk to people. I promise you, you'll go and talk to people if you have a problem, because it can't get solved if you don't communicate it. And coming to social media doesn't solve problems. It really doesn't. I see drama on social media all the time, and I scroll past it. Now, I think that there are things that people are doing that are wonderful as creators and nurses and healthcare workers, where they're bringing attention to important subjects that need to be heard and that people need to be discussing. I think that that's wonderful. It's still risky, but I think it's great that they have the courage to share those things and to put those things out there. I guess I'm just not a big risk taker. You just have to be mindful that when you share something on social media, it can come back to you. It can come back to your job, and it can come back to your patients. It can come back to hurt you. It can come back to hurt others, and it will affect you sometimes legally, and it can affect you professionally. If you get fired from a job for social media and other companies see your social media, it's very possible that they won't give you a job as well. Maybe that's not important to everybody, but I feel that my reputation as a nurse, my reputation is very important to me as a nurse. I want people to believe in the care that I give. I want people to believe that their information is safe with me. And I want people to know that I am not going to break their privacy and their confidence and share their information anywhere. I have talked about things that happened 20 years ago vaguely. And sometimes even then I go, "Ooh, should I talk about this?" And I always run it through legal things to see, is this safe to talk about? How can I word this so that I'm not violating anybody's privacy? Because I think, our experiences teach us the things that are in our nursing books when we're in nursing school. When I went to nursing school, I'm going to be honest with you, reading those textbooks was like reading stereo instructions. I still hate to read textbooks. I skim through them and pull out what's information that's necessary. But what I loved about nursing school that changed was that they taught us to not regurgitate that information, but to apply it, to use it with critical thinking. Getting on social media and you're a nurse, you should be critically thinking about what you're saying. I think it's okay to share your nursing journey. I think it's okay to bring up valid issues that are happening in nursing. And I'm not judging anybody who talks about their job on social media. Most nurses and creators that I've seen aren't sharing the location of their work. They're not sharing specific details about the names of the people that they're talking about. And generally they're looking for, I've seen people talking about situations that they've seen where they want to discuss those things and have a discussion about it, have a debate about it. And I think that opening conversations for us as nurses is very important. I think it's important to have an opinion, and it's important to have a voice. I think our voices as nurses are very important, and social media is a tool that we can use to spread information that is helpful and get out. We can talk about issues on social media. We can talk about things that are dangerous. We can talk about things that are happening to nurses around the world. That's not my platform, but I have so much respect for people who do. My platform is truly mostly educational and sharing, my journey. It's personal to me. But I really love watching other creators who do share their journey on social media. And I have seen people who do it with class and dignity, and I have seen people who do it very messy. And I don't follow those people, and I don't ever comment anything negative. I just go on, I scroll past it. If I see drama, I just scroll past it, because I tell you, as nurses that we're dealing with dramatic situations every day. We're dealing with real people, real situations, and we're tired, we're emotionally drained, we're stressed out, we're burned out sometimes, and we're sometimes pulling from an empty well, and we're giving from that empty well sometimes. And so I think it's really important to be able to share those things and share our voice in the world, because people don't know what we do as nurses. So in that way, social media is wonderful. It's a great tool for nurses to use to share the message of what we're doing. As nurses, we are advocating for our patients. We are giving care. We are crying when we go home sometimes. We are taking our work home with us emotionally sometimes, because sometimes you can't leave it at your door. It's been just that kind of day or just that kind of week that you couldn't just leave it at your door. And so having a place to voice the issues, I think that is a beautiful thing about social media. We didn't have this option when nursing came about. I read a nursing story about a patient that I had, and it brought me to tears. And I thought, how amazing would it be if those wonderful nurses that paved the way for us had a voice like we have today, a platform to make things that are important heard. We can use our voices and be heard as nurses with social media. And so I would never say don't use social media, but what I would say is be careful what you share. Be careful who you talk about. Be careful what you say. Because again, know the policy that you signed. People can let you go at will. They don't have to have a reason to fire you sometimes. They can just let you go. And that includes if they look at your social media and they feel that you are not a good representation for their company. We are an extension of the company that we work for, and that is true. Unfortunately, it's true of us even when we're not at work. If we're not at work, we are still a representation of the company that we work for in healthcare. The way that we present ourselves, the way that we carry ourselves, the way that we behave in public, that is all considered on how we represent the company that we work for. It really is. And that's why I think you got to be careful. You just got to be careful. You can hurt yourself. You can hurt your career if you say or do the wrong thing. Now, sometimes taking a risk makes change, right? I'm not the risk taker, but sometimes taking risk is going to make change. And I look at people that are paving the way and, building the bridges and building the roads. I look at them and I say, wow, I wish I could be like that. And I respect them greatly. How do you feel about social media? Do you use your social media to talk about work issues? Do you talk to your boss about your work issues? Do you use your social media to share personal stuff like pictures and things like that? Do you talk about nursing things on your social media? Let's talk about it in the comments. How do you handle your social media? What kinds of things do you feel should be talked about? What kinds of things do you feel shouldn't be discussed? tell me all about it. And if you like what you see here and you want to see more and you want to talk more, I ask that you like, subscribe, and follow, and leave me some comments because I will respond back. So I thank you for watching, and I hope to see you soon. Bye bye.